Welcome to the 707, a weekly half-hour program produced by KRCB, a service of NorCal Public Media. The 707 features voices and stories from your community, stories that shine a light on the abundance of our region, and stories that show how we are connected to each other. I'm your host, Michelle Marques. It's no secret that Sonoma County is a great destination for wine and food. We have over 400 wineries and 500 restaurants, many of which are award-winning. There are also countless events that highlight the wine and cuisine here, but there is one event that expands the focus to include wines and chefs from farther afield. It's called the Healdsburg Wine and Food Experience. And remarkably, when you place Sonoma County wines and food made by Sonoma County chefs next to wines from France and chefs from around the world, it only illustrates how good we have it here. Today, we will learn more about this weekend of events with Steve Dveris, CEO of the Healdsburg Wine and Food Experience, which happens May 14th through the 17th, and later in the show, talk with guitarist Grace Bowers, who is headlining a show on Friday, May 15th at Rodney Strong Vineyards.
We call it an experience because that's pretty much what it is. We are about to go into our fifth year, and Healdsburg Wine and Food is an experience or a celebration of the great bounty of Sonoma County. Some of the greatest wines in the world come from this region, and we gather both local stars, local winemakers, and we intersperse them with big television and some online news. This year we have some social media influencer stars coming in, and we sort of mix it all together and create an unbelievable food and wine experience that lasts throughout the weekend starting Thursday night.
And what is the overall mission of the Healdsburg Wine and Food Experience?
The mission is to overall elevate the region. I think for many years, Sonoma was sort of the second thought when people thought about going to California wine country, where Napa might be the first thing they thought of, and then someone would say something about somewhere in Sonoma, and they weren't quite as familiar, or it didn't have as much brand recognition at the time as Napa did. But also, it's just got this rich, as I said, sort of agricultural history. There's so much incredible agriculture that was grown for years and years and years throughout Sonoma County. And I tell, because I've been working with Food and Wine magazine and going to all their food and wine festivals all over the country for almost 27 years. And so I was always kind of flummoxed by the fact that we didn't have an international wine and food festival in our own backyard, where everything is actually coming from, where the wine is grown, where the produce is grown in California. So during COVID, we created it.
The weekend of events are available a la carte or as a package of tickets, according to Dveris. The Thursday event at Charlie Palmer's new hotel, Appalachian, is part of the VIP package, but there are quite a few events on Friday.
So we have a brunch at J Winery with Stephanie Izard, who's one of the best chefs in our country. She recently opened up one of her many restaurants in Silicon Valley, so for the first time she has a Bay Area restaurant. And then we have my favorite, really quintessential lunch that we do every year at the Kendall Jackson Garden and Tasting Center, where we have a garden to table, incredible lunch with their executive chef Tracy Shepos Chinami and Manit Chauhan, who's been with us every year. And they put on an incredible lunch in the middle of their extraordinary garden, which is curated by Tucker Taylor. And then we are doing our VIP lunch at Ferrari Carano, which is going to be an Italian-themed lunch because it's an Italian-themed winery. And we're bringing in Nadia, who's the pasta queen. She's got a huge following on Instagram, millions of followers on Instagram, and she also has a show on Amazon Prime. And that's going to be alongside of Domenica Catelli, who's our local star, who obviously owns Catelli's in Geyserville, and it's going to be great at Ferrari Carano. And then Friday afternoon, we have two wine seminars. So one is going to be the 150-year anniversary of Beringer Vineyard, which is an iconic vineyard, one of the first in Napa Valley. But Ray Isle, the executive editor of Food and Wine, is going to be moderating the seminar where you get to taste library wines from Beringer. And Charlie Palmer has been cooked incredible paired steak bites, including like a Wagyu slider that's going to go with it. We also have a Lamb Loves Red Wine seminar called Don't Bust Your Chops. And it's moderated by Anthony Giglio, who's sort of this amazingly funny and knowledgeable wine expert who's been with us almost every year. So Friday evening is, I couldn't be more excited about this. The venue at Rodney Strong's outdoor amphitheater is just so intimate and beautiful. This year we have two amazing stars coming in from Nashville. One is named Hannah Ellis. Her and her husband are incredible country singers. She was nominated as Best New Country Artist of the Year. The other amazing star is, I'm so excited about this. So I first saw Grace Bowers at Bottle Rock, which she's been twice. She was one of the headliners last year. And she's a young phenom, like a literal guitar phenom. She sings with soul. So she's a great singer, but an extraordinary guitar player. And she will, so Hannah will open, and then Grace will come on afterwards. And it's just going to be a rock. And so Grace has sort of a combination of blues and rock and punk. We have 6 food trucks there, including all kinds of great food. But every year, our perennial Black Pig truck from Dusky Estes and John Stewart will be there, Sonoma favorites.
The main event of the weekend is the Vintners Plaza Grand Tasting on Saturday, May 16th from noon to 4 p.m.
It's literally hundreds of wineries, both tons of great Sonoma, bigger wineries, boutique wineries, all kinds of varietals. We bring in some wines from Napa. We got amazing chefs. We've got multiple dessert stations this year. We have non-alcoholic wine this year, really good non-alcoholic wine that people can get. So even if you don't drink, you could still come to the Grand Tasting. And then the other thing you can still get into, but it's going fast, they will hopefully sell out, which is our big bottle party. That's Saturday night. It's the party of the weekend. We have large format wines, incredible wines from all different regions of the world. And we have Leanne Wong coming in from Hawaii to cook alongside of Dustin Villette and his team at the Matheson. If you're a VIP, we have a wind down pool party at Appalachian on Sunday. It ends up being a really popular thing with our VIPs and our chefs who get to literally unwind and hang out with each other. One of the great things about our event has an intimacy that doesn't exist at some of the other events, where our chefs feel really comfortable hanging out with our guests. And at every event, they'll take pictures, they'll take videos, they'll talk to people and really interact. And that's, one of the most fun things about our event. If you're a chef fan, they do like to interact with each other, but they also interact with our guests.
Yeah. And I also really like the aspect of the Healdsburg Wine and Food Experience in that it is, while it certainly is highlighting the wonderful things that we have in Sonoma County in terms of wine, ag, and food, it also makes those connections for our growers, for our chefs, our winemakers, together with people from around the world. And it's making sort of those wonderful connections that end up fostering cool things the rest of the year.
I agree. I think that because one of our founding partners was the Sonoma Wine Growers Association, who are so obviously involved with all the farmers and the wine growers in the valley. It's really that thread it runs throughout the event, and we try to honor, we call it the makers behind the magic, the people that literally dig in the dirt. Those connections and those threads run throughout the whole event. And I think it's what makes it special. It's a real celebration of place and the people behind the place.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also the Healdsburg Wine and Food Experience gives back to the community. So tell me about the organizations that this event supports.
We've had several that we've supported throughout the years, but the two that have sort of remained consistent. We started a scholarship fund for the Future Farmers of America high school kids that we coordinate through the high school in Healdsburg for kids who really want to go to college in agriculture but can't afford it. So we started a scholarship fund. I think that we have thus far raised $125,000 for the scholarship fund. And I'm really proud of that. And this year we're doing a really fun thing at the Grand Tasting. So I'm bringing in, have you seen mini cows? mini
No.
Highland cows.
No. Oh my goodness.
Okay, they're like the cutest things you've ever seen in your life. I mean, it's just crazy. So basically, they're either the size of a big dog or a small, or a mini donkey, but they're miniature, beautiful, kind of fluffy cows that have long eyelashes and just you just melt when you see them. Anyway, we're bringing in two, and some of the kids who are graduating from the Future Farmers, and to present a check from Foley Family Wines to them in the grand tasting. And people can meet the cows, pet the cows, take pictures with the cows. We've never done that before, but I'm really excited about it. I think people are going to flip out when they see these.
That's adorable. I love it.
Yeah, so the other organization that we support, which I really believe in, is and it's tied into our concert with Hannah Ellis and Grace Bowers, which is we give a portion of the proceeds of the ticket to the Farm to Pantry organization that gleans produce throughout people's homes and farms throughout the county and puts together food boxes and feeds food insecure people throughout Sonoma County. So it's just an amazing organization, and we've been supporting them every year since we started.
In the next segment of the 707, we'll chat with musician Grace Bowers, who is headlining the Friday night concert at the Healdsburg Wine and Food Experience. This is KRCB.
I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News with a little something to kickstart your mornings. Sonoma First News is a weekday morning podcast with the top local stories and weather updates from across Sonoma County. From Petaluma to Bodega Bay, Sonoma First News has you covered. Subscribe now through KRCB's website, on the NorCal mobile app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Sonoma First News from Sonoma County's NPR station, KRCB FM.
Welcome back to the 707 on KRCB. I'm your host, Michelle Marques. Grace Bowers is a 19-year-old musician from the East Bay who now lives in Nashville. She's performing on Friday, May 15th at Rodney Strong Vineyards as part of the Healdsburg Wine and Food Experience. Grace, you're working on new material and exploring new sounds. Can you describe the influences and styles that you're inspired by right now?
I don't know, just I've lived through touring for the past 2 years, and I've kind of really gotten to hone a style and really figure out what it is that I want to do long term and what really makes me happy. We're kind of changing it up a bit and still keeping all those classic influences, of course, while also combining a lot of rock and punk elements with some pop and just kind of meshing all of those things together.
So are there certain musicians or bands that are ones that you're listening to right now to get some of that inspiration?
Yeah, there's a lot of new bands out there right now that are killing it in the rock scene. Like Amo and the Snickers are one of my favorites. The Linda Lindas in LA are awesome. And then on the more classic side of things, Funkadelic is one of my favorite bands.
Nice. Can you tell me about your new song? I saw clips of this on your socials it's called Eat and Live. Can you tell me what this means to you and your process in writing this song?
Yeah, that's about it's about a specific person that I'm not gonna name. But sometimes eating and dying, I want you to live with the that you've done. That's kind of what the song's about. And yeah, that song especially inspired by Olivia Rodrigo when she does more of her rock stuff and some Bikini Kill type stuff in there. Yeah, that one's been my favorite to play live, and hopefully we're releasing it this summer, so we'll see.
How does that song translate live? Have you been playing with it live?
Yeah, we've been playing that song live for months and months now. And we always close the show with it too, because I don't know, it gets people really hyped up.
So I know that you really value collaboration in music. So what artists are you working with now to work on your new material?
Yeah, lots of co-writes. Collaboration, like you said, has always been a very important thing to me because coming up in the scene in Nashville, I was the one getting invited to play with all kinds of different artists, and that's kind of how I got my foot in the door. Co-writing is a very important thing to me. Most of my songs have been written with a songwriter here named Josie Dunn, and then some of the other ones have been written like with some other local people.
Is Nashville like a fertile place to be able to find people to work with? And how do you find someone who really meshes with your style?
Yeah, Nashville, like, it's like songwriter heaven. But for me, like, I'm very picky because a lot of the songwriters here are country or like Americana, which I like. Don't get me wrong, I love that stuff, but it's not what I'm trying to write. So, finding the right fit for me, like both like vibe wise and music wise, has taken a sec. And with Josie, I just feel like we really like connected on both levels. It's good to kind of have like a person like that in your corner.
Absolutely. Now, you previously worked with your band, the Hodgepodge. So, who are the musicians that you're working with and will be performing with at Rodney Strong?
Honestly, an all new lineup actually. I still call them the hodgepodge just because it's kind of been like an ever changing thing. That's where the name came from originally. But yeah, like I'm really excited about it. I feel like we're really, starting to sound like a unit. We're getting like really tight together.
So, what kinds of things are you focusing on for your live shows now? I know that you have been and obviously are a great guitarist, but you're singing now, right?
Yeah, that's a newer thing. I started singing a year ago now. So like compared to me playing guitar for like 10 years, like it's like learning a whole new instrument. So that part of it's getting there. I definitely like enjoy doing it a lot. But I'm still learning. So every show, like I take it as an opportunity to learn and grow. And I think it's gotten to like a pretty decent place, like I'm starting to get more confident with it, which is cool.
That's awesome. Now, of course, as a young artist, people tend to use the word prodigy pretty often. Do you think that that word discounts the amount of work that it takes to be good at what you do?
I don't think it discounts it because it comes from like a very like it's a compliment, and when people say it, like it comes from a very genuine place. And I do think that some people are prodigies and like naturally gifted at something. I don't think I'm one of those people though. Like when I first picked up a guitar, like there was nothing natural about it, and I'd say like I just straight up wasn't good at it for about 5 years, honestly. And part of that was because I wasn't putting in the time and effort it takes to like progress at an instrument. And another part of it is just because I didn't care because I picked up a guitar when I was 9. So there wasn't really like a passion formed for it until COVID when I was 13. And then that's when I really like, put in like the millions of hours to get to where I want to get. Like with like you have to practice to get to that level. And I still don't think I'm at a level that I want to be at. So no, I don't think I'm a prodigy, but if people want to call me that, I'm not about to get mad at it.
That sounds good. So, because you're from the Bay here, when you do performances like in Healdsburg or other places, and Napa Valley when you did Bottle Rock, do you get a lot of time to see friends and family?
Yeah, I always, well, usually my family always comes out to those shows. Like my grandma has been at almost every California show I've done, which is awesome. And then I still keep in touch with like my two very best friends still live down there. So they always come out to like hang out or whatever. Just if I have like off time in between, I'm probably gonna be with them. So yeah, California shows are Northern California at least are always super fun for me because I get to see friends and family every time.
That's lovely. So, I think we can all relate to being a teen when we were trying different things to see what we like and who we want to be. Do you think that you have that freedom to explore different musical styles, or do you feel a lot of pressure to be one thing?
Um, a little bit of both, honestly, like especially this past year and kind of switching up like what I want to do. Because I mean, it's difficult. Like people like to criticize me for it, but I always say like think about when you were 16 or 15 and then compared to when you were 19 turning 20, you do a lot of growing in those years. And like I know that 3 4 years doesn't sound like a lot, but like in this period of my life, like it it feels like a lot, and I've gone through a lot of changes. Like I've really grown up in the past like year or two. So yeah, like what I was doing when I was 16 versus what I want to do now is definitely different. But yeah, like it has been kind of difficult to kind of transition under a spotlight. And I don't really feel like pressure about it because in the end, like I don't really care what other people are gonna have to say about it because that nothing that they can say is gonna stop me from doing what I'm passionate about. So I feel like a little bit of both. Like there's some pressure, yes, but I don't know, I just kind of tune it out.
Grace Bowers is performing on Friday, May 15th at Rodney Strong Vineyards. Learn more online at healdsburgwineandfood.com. I'm your host and producer of this program, Michelle Marques. This show is a service of NorCal Public Media. Our president and CEO is Darren Lachelle.